So the only way that we could convince consumer was to communicate what we do, how we do, why you need to move towards a more price conscious product, be a part a lot of media conversations, because again, we like even for impact funds to take fashion seriously is not a thing in India. We're still struggling with literacy, poverty. The agendas are very different. So while fashion connects everything, it's very difficult for talking about fashion sustainability to the consumer in India and how consumer behavior leads to a longer change. So our idea was to just communicate and the fact that you try as you scale, you try to make your product more affordable for the consumer, and then they were able to sort of see the switch that if I save up a little bit, I'll be able to buy something more conscious.
Yeah. So actually, you're saying that textiles or the apparel industry can also be a vehicle to reach everyone and to convince everyone on means and things that can done to limit climate change. So that's maybe a nice takeaway also, that and to see it that also through jeans, it's the jeans or the garments itself, that they're also a way to communicate and to reach people. Please stay with us, Kirti. We'll be back, but we will first move over from India to China and go to Monique, Waste to Wear. So Monique, thanks for joining us. Great to see you. And would you like to introduce yourself and also your company, please?
Okay, thank you, Ruben. Nice to be here amongst this very interesting group of people trying to make impact. So my name is Monique Wong. I live in Shanghai already for 23 years. My company is called Waste to Wear. We make innovative textiles from recycled plastics. And I make a very big distinction between plastics and plastic bottles, because we use, of course, plastic bottles, and we started with that. But we also developed in the recent few years new kind of textile products made from recycled polypropylene, from recycled PS, and we are constantly innovating here. So where we are, we producing in China and in India, and we have 7 representative offices around the world. Where we mainly do sales support and also help with education. What type of products do we make? We make actually a whole wide range of products, of textile products. We make upholstery, bags. We make a lot of things for the promotional industry. Of course, fashion, sports, uniforms, shoes, and even packaging. So today we started in 2000. My company started in 1998, but I started to focus on recycling in 2007, and we changed our name to our brand name in 2016. Today, currently, we export to 27 countries, and I totally believe that by putting a lot of by using recycled materials and communicating it by it well, that you can create a very big mindset shift. So one of the most challenging issues in the recycling industry is the traceability and the proof of feedstock. There are so many companies who are offering products who are actually either very small in recycled content or maybe even not completely at all. So therefore we developed our own blockchain system where we create a completely traceable supply chain where we connect a digital document stream together with the physical action of smart contracts. That in combination with a patent pending invention that we can really prove that our recycled products made from recycled plastic bottles, when we use rPET, are really made from rPET. And we can prove that not only from our own products, but also from other, I call them colleagues, type of products. So we don't need to put a tracer in our stuff, because I always say it's beautiful that you trace your own yarns or your own products, but you trace a tracer. You do not prove that it's made from recycling.
Yeah,
So basically, this is what we do, and I hope you can show a little video to show you how this works.
yes. So Monique, thanks a lot for this for this introduction, and I think it's great. So if your point, it's also very important to trace the feedstock and to show where the circularity actually starts, or when it gets recycled, it's really recycled. I think that's great. And can you tell us a bit more on what then you offer other companies on the? It's part of the blockchain technology, right, or the whole process that you offer that you can help other companies with. What's your outreach to other organizations that would say, we can, we want to take a next step in traceability of our feedstock?
Well, that's actually something which came up not so long ago, that we got a lot of interest of other companies, also from other industries, because we created a very complex blockchain system with a lot of little steps, a lot of details, to physically connect every step with how many kilos, how many things, with dates and addresses and things and locations. So this is something we are exploring now to see if we can adapt our current blockchain to other industries and see if we can help them also use the traceability as a tool to sell recycled products, because customers, especially millennials, they love this story. They really love the whole storytelling part of where it comes from and that you really can prove that it is recycled.
That sounds great, and a very concrete point also that we can use. So I would like to wrap up maybe this block of discussion on recycling and sorting, etc. I would like to start to Hans, go to Kriti, and then come back to you, Monique. Maybe if I can ask you to very briefly, because we're running out of time, give us 2 recommendations, because of course we'll use the outcome and we'll take it until a next roundtable with the Minister from Holland of Environment. So what would your main recommendations be, and what would be your outcome of today? Hans.
My recommendations, yeah. I think the phase we're into now is just hands-on. Things need to be done. What I see, there is a lot of talking about this whole circular idea with textiles, but we need to do things. So the next step will be just hands-on, do whatever you can, and move forward.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Hans. Great recommendation, I guess. So thanks for joining us today. Kriti, go over to you. What would be your 2 main recommendations or conditions for change?
So, completely agree with everything that is being said, and I think the 2 main recommendations would be like the fact that we need to sort of move forward with what we're doing. We, as businesses, it needs to be more funds that get invested in circular businesses for them to be able to scale, and at the same time a push towards consumer awareness.
Thanks a lot, Kriti, for being with us today. Monique, moving over to you, what would be your main recommendations and conditions for change?
I would say, first of all, governments needs to either look at incentives by lowering taxes or import duties to improve and increase recycled content. Then I would also look at the government for reducing government hindering regulations, because it's often also the governments who are putting borders on where you cannot move from one place to the other, otherwise very usable feedstock, and with all good intentions, but that stops things. I would increase the education on availability on sustainable options for use of textiles in different industries, because in the fashion industry there is a growing knowledge, but in many other industries there's also a lot of textiles used, and very often the knowledge on the sustainable variations of them are not there. And that saying, I would say keep on innovating and really engage universities. Keep on working with universities. We do that all the time, because this is a new industry. You need new ideas, you need constant innovation and constant creation. And then last but not least, there should be a very big monitor on traceability, because we are in a great industry. Everybody sees it now, it's very green, and it's now finally looking to be growing, but then that keeps also opening up for a lot of players in the field who say that it's green, but it's not. So you need to trace it and to prove it, because otherwise people are being misdirected, and that's not okay.
Great, Monique. Thanks for being with us today. So innovation and education. Let's move very quickly to Chiara and Jade. You've heard some of the best practices and seen some of the examples from the industry. I would like to see what are your takeaways and any new insights from what you've heard today. Chiara, to start with you.
Sure, thanks a lot. So from what I heard today, it was really interesting, and I think this can be summarized into 4 perspectives from our side. The first is to stimulate the demand for durable, high quality and recyclable products by establishing also an overarching framework with that can be the basis for design with minimum criteria or minimum information, such as done, for example, in the jeans redesign project. And this can be stimulated also through the public procurement, for example, by acquiring a professional workwear. Then the second point would be, for example, to promote the business models and resource management systems by deploying new infrastructure or harmonizing the collection system, so that we prevent textiles from ending up in landfill or incineration. Then the third one would be to align the incentives. We heard before from Bert of Mad Jeans and also from Monique that, for example, for recycled products, we have the double VAT, or there is not the harmonization of trade of secondary materials. So this can be the third point. And fourth but not least, we have to avoid the policy fragmentation. We have recently launched a paper on circular economy policy goals, so that we can develop a framework through which businesses, governments and institutions can operate. So these will be my main takeaways.
So thank you very much on that, Chiara, very clearly. And I think that there are some great examples and also of other business cases on the site of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So I would like to invite the whole public to have a look on it. Let's move over to Jade, circular economy. Jade, what would